The world's largest orange. I asked Hank Williams, how lonesome does it get? Hank Williams hasn't answered yet. Leonard Cohen. At the end of 2 seasons, I'm satisfied that the last episode summarized a lot. We did it. What's left to say? On the other hand, if we've arrived somewhere relatively quickly, it may be in part because of a stoic determination on my part to stay on the highway. I've been, I admit, a little like a father in the driver's seat who seems to care for nothing and for no one. He cares only for what he calls making good time. No stops, no breaks, no turn-offs, no bathroom. You should have thought of that earlier. Only in my case, it wasn't gas station coffee shops or the world's largest orange I was driving past. Rather, with sympathies switched off and cruise control engaged, I was speeding past so many major objections. Maybe you looked over once or twice to see if I knew I was passing them. I registered nothing. My eyes were fixed. I stayed on the highway. 20 episodes in, and there I was, staring straight ahead to the deliberate exclusion of all else. Sipping not from some stop-necessitating, cost-ineffective Tim Hortons, but from an oversized suburbanite's proud plastic thermos. Yes, I'd set the timer on the drip filter. I'd gotten up early. I, at least, had thought ahead. Thinking about objections, though, also makes me think back, and not just to childhood road trips, but to my own recent history. When I presented preliminary ideas for the podcast in class, I mentioned before that I started the project while picking up a modestly postponed music degree. One memorable reaction preoccupied us for most of the rest of a class. The question of whether your red is really my red, whether in fact your red might be my green. That comes from Locke, I think, an undetectable inverted color spectrum. I tried to persist. I was presenting. To make any kind of progress. The outline was in my hand, but the intractable and endlessly interesting objection was so fascinating it easily won out. It amused me. That was pre-Christmas, and strangely, about a week later, a hotel I always passed, a shortcut to the metro, had set out on their steps at least a dozen artificial trees, more. Passing through, I had to do a double take. They were artificial Douglas firs, if I know my conifers, and I don't. But whatever they were, the needles weren't green. Every needle on every tree, and every tree from top to bottom, was completely red. Funny. I suppose in relation to the conventional Christmas palette, it's a legitimate aesthetic choice. The other festive option. Joy to the world in 2 popular tones. Looking at those very red trees, I thought back to the class discussion and made in my mind the appropriate adjustment. If they weren't red, they were at least my red. I saw an interview with David Gilmour. Let's just let Mary, who we've heard enough from for quite a while, have a little nap and let David take over. He's pictured here, by the way, in an unaccountably celebratory mood. Anyway, David, as I call him, was saying in interview that he, on an album he was working on, would find certain sounds on his guitar played in combination with certain effects. He would find these things that did something in him or to him. And he hoped, he said, that they would perhaps do something to other people. Perceptual experience in the arts is in some ways shared, but shared in a strange, disjunct sense, shared indirectly via a physical medium. We're meant to perceive something, but the intended object, as it were, of apprehension is our inner experience. I may, as David hopes, know in me and privately what he knew in him and privately. Hopefully, again that word, with some kind of rough correspondence, if not accuracy. It's a potential sharing that retains the limit of inaccessible privacy, but via the physical, music, some medium, makes a distinct experience publicly accessible, if privately received. Now, to face the facts, your red is my green is no trivial challenge to the idea that this might happen at all, or is even possible. Further, it stands in for a much larger set of objections, a whole grove, as it were, of the world's largest oranges. What about cultural differences? You've said nothing. You've talked about Western music theory. Maybe you didn't know there's more than just Canada. Were you so concerned with what you call making good time that you forgot the whole world? Go easy on me. I see your point. I saw these things in my periphery as I passed them by at full speed, a large orangish blur. And if I understand you, my objecting alter ego, I assume the broader point is, the objection from non-universal perception is a serious one. Let's take it seriously. Let's take the next episode or two to begin thinking all of this through. It's time to face the world's largest orange. It's time to address the objections.
Riley said number 9. I said I don't know. Riley said number 9. I said I don't know. Riley said number 9. I said I don't know. You're gonna make it fine. I will help you anytime.